First of all, congratulations for this amazing project. I think that it is both a statement and a transformation of our rather more conventional and already well-trodden attempts in the last 60 years to bring the issue of Palestine to the public attention. And I thought that we have seen it all, and I thought we have exhausted all the possible inventions of how to make things a bit different. But I'm glad to say that you have surprised me, at least, as one of the veteran activists of this movement. And I think I'm not the only one among the more dinosaurs who could not recall at any other stage of our activism of doing something similar. Can you hear me in the back, or you can't?
Yeah, maybe you need to speak up.
Okay, I will warm up. Especially if you'll ask me nasty questions, but within the qualification of the very clear guidance that we have received today. Is this better? Yeah. Good, excellent, good, very good. So I really think that what I would like to hear from you is where I can respond to issues that interest every one of you according to his or her own involvement to and commitment to the cause of Palestine. What I thought I could do as an opening for such a discussion is maybe state, which I hope is not too obvious, but to state some of the new realities that unfold on the ground in Israel and Palestine, which are worthwhile noting and discussing and reacting to. Some of them are very sad, some of them are very destructive and negative, but I think that some of them are also positive and leave us with a sense that things are still not lost when it comes to the future of the land of Palestine. And I would list these new realities, if you want, not necessarily according to their importance, but according to the way that they have developed in the last year or two. Some of them are more important than the others, but I think all of them are worth talking about. And I will try and do it in about 20-25 minutes so that there's enough time to discuss both what I've said and, as I noted, whatever you would like to bring to the fore. I think the first thing that happened almost about a year and a half ago is that a very significant actor on the local scene in Israel and Palestine has disappeared. And that actor can be called liberal Zionism, or as I would like to call it, Diet Zionism, which is an attempt to sell Zionism without Zionism, and is as successful to wake you up as decaffeinated coffee is successful in making you believe that it is really coffee. And liberal Zionism was important because it was actually the main agency and the main means by which Israel as a state, and also Israel as a Jewish society, used to commodify itself and sell itself to the world. In many ways, it was one of the two pillars that sustained the Zionist project in Palestine ever since the late 19th century. One pillar is power, military, economic, political, diplomatic, if you want, and this is attained in all kinds of means. But another pillar, a very interesting pillar, is the moral pillar. Most Israeli Jews, until very recently, would see the two pillars as equal in importance, namely we survive not just because we have the IDF, or because we have the American support, or because we have the support of the Jewish communities around the world, or whatever. We also survive because we are morally right. And how do we know that we are morally right? We get moral support and justification for what we are doing. And in order to ensure that justification, it was very important to have this liberal, or the charade of a liberal side to Zionism. And it produced a very interesting and strange vocabulary, such as, and some of the, I'm sure, familiar with some of the bizarre linguistic products of that kind of exercise. For example, the purity of arms. The only arms that are pure, of course, those who don't shoot, but they don't mean that. The enlightened occupation, Jewish democracy, and all kinds of oxymorons that all are part of the liberal Zionist dictionary, and worked very well with people around the world, especially the Western world. Some genuinely believed in it, that you could be both a racist outfit and a democratic one, that you can be a colonialist project and yet a democratic one, that you can dispossess people and yet be a paragon of peace and democracy in the region. Some did not believe it, and I think that is particularly true about Jewish communities in the West, but felt that this was good enough as long as no one challenges it, right? And that discourse, the late Edward Said, one of the greatest philosophers of the late 20th century, and as you know, a Palestinian, would have called it probably a discourse. He would call it the liberal Zionist discourse. And the importance of the word discourse is not its postmodernist kind of connotation. What is important about the word discourse, that this is a language that has its own institutions, its own power, its own narrative, its own academics, its own politicians, its own writers and poets, and so on. And in this respect, liberal Zionism was an empire. It has people who won Nobel Peace Prizes. It has people who will win Nobel Peace Prizes or Peace Prizes of Literature. It has people who are invited all over the world to discuss moral issues of human rights and civil rights. And who can think about a better place than Jewish Israel to have the experience of how to preach to others about how to treat other human beings? You can't think of a better place for that. And that discourse also produced an academia that became the best embassies or the best diplomatic service for the project of Zionism in Palestine.